Next, we got a pulse check on Alabama, and I labeled Alabama as cautiously optimistic. In 2025, you had very uncharacteristic losses for an Alabama football team. You lost to Oklahoma in just a weird game where you went way down early, and granted, you fought your way back, but you couldn't fight your way all the way back to win that game, and it just felt like you were down and out after those first two quarters. Completely. Separately, you also had the game against Florida State where you lost to a really bad team that may have been playing up. But they were a bad team. Let's just be honest. They were not a good team, and you lost to them. You also got beat down by Georgia and Indiana late in the season in the SEC championship game and in the playoff second round game. And by beat down, I mean thoroughly beat down in a way that I haven't seen Alabama get beat in ever, a long time. You got to remember, I'm 28. 2007 was my Super Bowl. That's whenever LSU wins the national championship, and from that point on, I am in love with college football, which also means that I only started really watching college football and comprehending what was happening as a 9-year-old from the time Nick Saban comes back from Miami and into Alabama. And I watch Alabama just steamroll everybody for all of my time growing up. So, I'm not used to Alabama losing like that. I'm not used to them having performances like that. I understand you got to be brought down to earth a little bit whenever Nick Saban's no longer your coach. But I don't think it needs to look like that. I don't think it needs to look like it did last year, and I think Alabama fans agree with that. I don't think they want it to look like it did last year. What we're looking up towards, why we are optimistic as Alabama fans here. The 2026 roster looks good. It really does. And Kalen Deboer's got his guys in, whoever he chooses, at quarterback. Keelan Russell or Austin Mack. Both of them he recruited. Austin Mack comes over with him from Washington. Keelan Russell just seems like he's probably going to win the job according to sentiment that I'm hearing around different shows and different people and on Twitter and all that stuff. Again, I don't have inside knowledge. I don't have inside information. Do not take that as gospel, but it seems like he's running point for that. He's in pole position to win that job. You do have a workable schedule. You got a 4-game stretch. It's going to be a little bit tough in there, but outside of that, you should be able to win the other 8 just based on talent alone. People are overlooking you. You're not very highly rated or highly ranked. At least it's projected that you're probably not going to be highly ranked whenever that first AP Top 25 comes out. The biggest question on the season that I have is, how does it look? How does the team look? Because last year, they had times where they looked great, and they had times where they looked completely lifeless. And it's okay to lose football games. Maybe Alabama fans will not agree with that. But I think it's okay to lose some football games, especially whenever you got a first-year starter in there. Those were a lot of the years where Nick Saban had his most struggles, is when he had a first-year starter in, because they had to learn how to manage an SEC football game. It's all coming at you faster. It's all coming at you harder, and it's going to be a different speed and a different pace than you're used to, and you got to learn how to manage that. Totally understand that. That's why I say it's okay to lose. It's not okay to lose like you did last year. You do not want to have these ups and downs and peaks and valleys where you are so high up that you're beating teams by 70, and then the next week or the week before, you didn't even look like you had a pulse against Florida State, at least for those first 3 quarters before you tried to make your comeback. You don't want to go into games like Oklahoma and just look like you're completely flatlined and nobody from your team wants to be there and everybody's playing down. You don't want to go into meaningful games like that SEC championship game against Georgia. I get it. It's hard to beat the same team twice in a year. But I'll tell you what's not very difficult is being able to compete in those games. It's expected that Alabama is going to at least make it close, and they're going to make your life hell trying to beat them. But that didn't happen in the SEC championship game. It didn't happen in the semifinal game. So the big question, and where I think Alabama fans are going to have to end the season and figure out, is Deboer our guy that we're taking for another year, or is he going to... Are we going to have to move on and look elsewhere, potentially? is how does the team look? Do they look like they're playing with an edge? Do they look like they're playing with fire? The analogy that I like to bring up here is I love playing golf. I enjoy going out to play golf. I'm not the best golfer out there, and I've played with a lot of golfers that are way worse than I am, that half the time on the course they hit a shot and they're like, why do I even come out here and play? Because I've never hit below triple digits. I've never hit into the 90s. Why do I even come out here and play? All I do is just shank the ball left and right over and over again. But usually sometime late on the back nine, hole 14, 15, 16, 17, they hit that one shot, that one pure shot, that one 40-foot putt that just drains the chip that they put 2 feet away from the hole. And it gets them so excited. And they always say, that's why you keep coming back. That one is what I'm going to remember when I finish this round. That's going to make me want to play another round. Is Deboer going to have one of those games where he just comes in and like last year, he just absolutely obliterates LSU and Tiger Stadium? That buys you another year because you just crushed a good team. Or is he going to have enough of the shanks and enough of the misses, enough of the bad shots that causes everybody to say, all right, the experiment that we've tried, it doesn't seem like it's working right now, and we can either choose to cut our losses and continue on, or we got to double down and give this guy one more good shot for another year and see if the same thing occurs. Because if this same thing occurs, forgive me, but Alabama fans, I don't think you would want that. I don't think you would accept another 2 years of the performances that you saw last year. So we got to see how this works for him. We have a lot that we're going to be looking for in this Alabama team, but I, again, am going to put Alabama fans at cautiously optimistic. We think it can work, but I'm not going to be sold on it yet.